Hello, everyone. Welcome to all of you from around the world. My name is Vidur Shah, and it is my honor and pleasure to be your MC for semifinals of the Youth Triangle of the Youth Entrepreneur Global Business Plan Pitch for semifinals competition. This is Auditorium 4, and we have 4 teams of up-and-coming entrepreneurs from Melbourne, Kerala, Atlanta, Oregon, and Vancouver. Accompanying me today is Maithili Acharya as the timekeeper and Mehul Shah as moderator. For our judges, we have JT Vaughn, CEO of IH, a business focused on new clean energy technologies, Vineet Parikh, a managing director at Pimo Controls, a company that does the distribution of industrial automation and electrical products, Chitra Khatri, executive president at JP Morgan, a financial services company, and Vipin Ramani, who is co-founder and CEO of several businesses in the AI industry. Let's get this show started, and good luck to all the contestants. Remember, the format for these presentations is elevator pitch for 1 minute, video pitch for 10 minutes, Q&A for 5, and 5 minutes for scoring and transitions. First up, we have Bottle2bottle from Melbourne.
Recycling. We've all heard of it, we all do it. Some of us even help in the International Coastal Cleanup, where roughly 2.5 million pieces of plastic bottles, cans, and glass bottles are collected in one day. Plus, only 9% of plastic is recycled after virgin use. Yes, only 9%. Means we have a blatant problem. We at Bottle2bottle, as environmental activists, have created an easy-to-use digital platform that creates an interconnected community rewarding households and collectors for helping recycle economy-related items, allowing you to earn at your convenience. By educating users on proper disposal, we create a circular economy for bottles, cans, and cartons. So whenever boredom strikes you on a Saturday afternoon, you can happily collect or collect recyclables, earning money and saving the environment. What have we accomplished? With initial operations and interest within 5 states of Australia, we plan to globalize our scheme where in 5 years we project to have net earnings upwards of $300,000. Ladies and gentlemen, we can serve as a benchmark for next-gen recycling. Bottle2bottle, rewarding recycling.
Plastics, a lifesaver, a dependency, and an asset to large business corporations, is potentially the most threatening problem to humans and our planet's existence. Being cheap, sterile, and convenient, this wonder of a technology has gotten out of our hands by saturating our environment and invading the animals that we consume, eventually finding its way into our bodies. This is due to plastics not being recycled and over 17 million tons of plastics ending up in our landfills. The problem lies within 2 factors, which can be improved to deal with this worldwide crisis. First of all, our society. Over 79% of plastics alone are left in landfill and in nature, and 12% of plastics are incinerated, leaving harmful gases in the atmosphere. Recyclables are not being recycled, and this has led to a waste crisis both on land and ocean, creating the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, which is estimated to be 3.2 million square kilometers, decimating our marine ecosystem. Landfill cleanups are extremely expensive, in which our state, Victoria alone, spends $48 million annually. There's a lack of community participation, and people aren't being rewarded for their efforts in recycling. Over to you, Shrey.
Thanks, Sid. The second half of the problem exists in the various container deposit schemes located all over Australia and the globe. These container deposit schemes aim to provide you with a refund to the 10-cent premium you pay when purchasing the item. However, the inconvenient container deposit schemes are an unbelievably big hassle, arising issues such as people reluctant to travel long distances, fuel costs, and recently COVID preventing the majority of travel, all add to the major problem. Such schemes are also not digital, and therefore it's not easily accessible to all people, such as the youth, nor to the older generations who can't drive around. Additionally, since manufacturers and suppliers are unfairly charged extra on the goods they produce, they're required to compensate for their loss by passing this cost on to us, the consumers. Not only this, but there is an evident core failure to create an interconnected community focused on sustainability, as it is not run by the councils, households, and collectors as a joint effort. Back to you, Sid.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Siddhant Girish.
I'm Tanay Naga.
And I'm Shrey Tanejo.
And together we make Bottle2bottle.
Our solution involves a user-interactive app where households can exchange recyclables such as aluminum cans, plastic bottles, glass bottles, and drink cartons for a cash reward. Households can use the app to notify collectors within their council who then come and collect the items on demand. Upon collection, the collector inputs the number of items required into the app, which then determines the earnings of the customers and themselves. As a reward, we then provide 5 cents per item for households and 3 cents per item for collectors. Collectors can easily multiply their income by going to a lot of houses in their community. The collector then deposits the recyclables to a bottle-to-bottle warehouse present in that particular council. The recyclables are handled by the container refund scheme for proper disposal, and funds are distributed to each economic agent electronically. Here, we create an interconnected community where households can earn at the comfort of their house, whilst collectors can earn some pocket money in a fun and active way.
Bottle2bottle's immense market potential is displayed here. In the left image, we show the status quo for households and summarize the Bottle2bottle driven behavior change to show how we fit in the market. Ultimately, there will be reduced volumes in curbside collection, leading to cost savings in supply chain and landfill, as well as potential lower council rates as curbside bins are costing more for councils. This is due to waste export bans from China, leading to recycling levies. The image on the right shows our competitors. Curbside recycling is compulsory for all homes, however, it requires a hefty fee. For statewide programs in Australia, such as Return and Earn and Containers for Change, customers aren't rewarded but rather refunded. It is also less convenient as it requires you to physically travel to collect your money. Everyone can be involved in Bottle2bottle and there's limited market competition. Bottle2bottle will be a stepping stone for future container deposit schemes and can overhaul lackluster schemes elsewhere. Over to you, Shay.
Thanks, Vinay. Through 2020 and 2021, we have surveyed close to 200 people to see what kind of interest we have. In Sydney, out of the responses received, it is evident that approximately 90% of people surveyed are interested, with most people engaged in our program reside in the Hillshire Council of Sydney, the area outlined in red, with 28 households and 7 collectors. The skills in marketing and designing have allowed us to scale our business. We have distributed about 1,000 flyers within the Hillshire Council of Sydney and printed 100 business cards to spread awareness of our business. Currently, we have 2 households and 1 collector operation within Hillshire Council, and collectively we have gathered over 250 recyclables. Profits earned in Sydney will allow us to gather funding and brand recognition to expand our scheme elsewhere, for example in Victoria, located at the southern tip of Australia on the map. Surveys in Victoria show a further 100 people are interested in participating in our scheme. The Monash Council and City of Casey will be our stepping stones within Victoria, with 53 interested as households and another 12 interested in becoming collectors. Lastly, we have recently inquired and received interest for people in Adelaide, Perth, and Brisbane, where a similar organisation called Green Badge has offered to partner with us. Our web presence at bottle2bottle.com.au will help publicise our scheme to Victoria, Australia, and eventually to the world. We will continue to market through our social media pages as well.
This is a timeline of what we have completed and what we expect to complete. In March 2021, we commenced city operations and will be expanding operations in New South Wales in July. From funding and recognition through this competition, we can begin operating in WA, Queensland, and South Australia in September. We aim to reach Victoria in 2022 before the pre-existing container deposit scheme in neighbouring states comes to Victoria in 2023. By 2023, we would have maximised operations in all states of Australia and have expanded internationally to New Zealand and Singapore as seen on the image to the right. By 2026, Bottle2bottle will be fully expanded in Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore.
Thanks, Vinay. Stephanie Harris is a leader in the field, being part of Plastic Oceans team, an international organization tackling plastic waste. Stephanie is well aware of our recycling problem. Here's what she had to say about Bottle2bottle. The creation of a circular economy is a requirement in the recycling industry, stated by Education Manager Stephanie Harris. In line with point 2, our current goal solves the issue customers are facing where recyclables are not being sold in a circular fashion and where stakeholders are not being benefited. As of our future goal, we aim to eliminate all sources of newly made plastic and spread the usage of recycled materials around the world. Once again, reiterated by Stephanie Harris, our idea is revolutionary and ahead of the game.
Based on Kaz's suggestions, we understand contamination has a colossal impact. A recycling expert estimates 30% of recyclables are contaminated depending on the council. The Bottle2bottle app will be an educational platform on proper disposal by taking off labels and caps so a used bottle can be turned into a new bottle. As suggested and on par with our long-term goal, we will give an education kit to households via the app, informing them about recycling and the need to stop using plastics. This will help us save costs in landfill, cleanups, and segregation. Bottle2bottle will also donate to Plastic Oceans and other sustainable companies because we give back to the community and make an impact. We are a sustainable business.
Here's a letter of recommendation from Cindy Carano, Director and Chief Change Office at 3i Strategy, who has led substantial expertise working with entrepreneurs as well as with large transformative projects.
From our newfound skill in Excel spreadsheets, we have created our financial projections for the next 5 years. In the Excel sheet, the first sheet shows our plans to expand within Australia and internationally. By the end of year 1, we have 500 households, followed by 5,000 households by the end of year 2, then 10,000 households, 20,000, and ultimately 50,000 households by the end of 2026. In sheet 2, we've accounted for all of our expenses, most of which goes to app development, as we reimburse 40% of revenue to this area, since we are a digital platform. We end up with a projection of net earnings for the next 5 years, and after the initial loss in year 1, we begin to see steady returns after year 2, with around $316,000 in total earnings for this period.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. For more information, make sure to check our website, bottle2bottle.com.au. Once again, thank you.
Thank you very much, Bottle2bottle. Next up, we have a copy file from Kerala. Good luck. Oh, whoops, sorry, I messed up. So next we're going to be doing the Q&A session. Let's start off with Judge JT Vaughn, please.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay? All right, great job, guys. I really like the concept. It's a huge problem out there. The oceans and all that is happening in the oceans from a pollution perspective is a big issue on the environmental front. So good job. Question, could you guys walk us through the revenue model one more time? I know you had to go quickly because of the time constraint, but I just want to make sure I understand how you actually, how that process works and scales up, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I can do that. So we decided that there's 6 main categories we're going to be focusing on. So we had our warehouse leasing, where we store the recyclables. We have our social media and campaign and marketing. So that was we start off roughly at $500 in the first year. Then it goes up to about 20,000 once we expand internationally. We have our bag cost. Our bag cost is where the household.
By the way, you don't have to get so granular for me. I didn't want to dive deep into the financials, but I just meant simply from a customer perspective. Could you walk through it in the pitch? You're incentivizing collectors to go out and harvest the plastics. Could you just refresh me on that? So don't get deep into the financial model as much as where do you make money and how do you make money?
Yeah, so each household collects. So we did some surveys. We found about 27 recyclables, so plastic bottles, cans, and glass bottles are collected a month. So that in total is we exchange that for 10 cents, which is $2.70, and then 50% of that goes to the household. 30% of that goes to the collector who's driving around or on their bike going to the household, and we keep 20 cents profit. So 2 cents per item, 5 cents per item, and 3 cents per item.
That's what I was looking for. Very helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Next question from, can we take it from Vineet Parikh? Guys, remember to keep your questions and answers short.
My question to the team is, you said only 9% of the plastics actually go into the recycling. do you have a reason why it's so low? And what is the problem being faced right now? Because most governments are already doing a lot, and especially in developed countries like Australia.
Yeah, I can answer that. So basically, is 9% because we found that a lot of the plastic that we try to recycle, most of it can't be recycled. Only PET and HDPE plastic can be recycled. And also there's a lot of contamination in our recycling bins. So leftover foods or like caps not being taken off. And we also found that 79% of the plastic that actually makes it going to landfill. And also about 10% gets incinerated, leaving only 9% of plastic actually getting recycled. That's supposed to get recycled.
To add on to Tane, to just add on to Tane, we plan to involve all the community as well, obviously, which will help solve this problem faster. And compared to like what's happening now, there is minimum community involvement. And what we're doing is involving collectors, households, and basically trying to get more people into this.
All right, thank you. Next, can we get a question from Chitra Khatri?
Yeah,
Guys,
hi. Hi, great job, guys. Very big concept and focus from an ESG perspective. So I'm so glad you're focusing on this. My question is more, when you came up with this bottle to bottle as a concept, have you looked at which countries around the world are doing very good job on sort of actually tackling the problem? And I mean, just to name a few, Germany, Austria kind of comes as a top countries who are handling it very well. Did you happen to look at like, are there other options or business model that you can work or copy from other countries? Was that something that you looked at?
Yeah, definitely. I can help you with that one. So we've looked at other countries such as US, UK, Germany, and Singapore, and we found they have really good recycling schemes. And so that's why we've chosen New Zealand and Singapore to expand our program into. So that's what we'll be looking into after year 4.
So you're saying that what you're telling me is the countries that you're going to go in. I'm talking about the actual process of collecting plastic waste. Is there a specific country or model that kind of work that resonated well with you guys as something that you can also follow rather than just using the collection scheme that you are going for? Like that's my question.
Okay, yep. So Singapore, we've seen has a really good recycling rate, and they've been doing a really good recycling job. So we've, since they're close to us, we've adapted their methods and we've compared them to what we're doing currently. And so we've found the similarities and contrasts, and we've adapted and amended our model similarly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And then finally, Vipin Ramani, can ask your question?
Yeah, again, I echo the same thing, guys. Fantastic job. And thanks for staying up late for a good cause. A quick question. What do you think are the biggest risks in your plan, in your model? And then second is, from your name, sounds like you're just restricting to bottle. What about other recyclables, or is that a thought as well?
So about the question with other recyclables, we start to plan just with bottles. So plastic bottles, aluminum cans, and glass bottles. And then we plan to expand into other types of plastics. So there are only a specific number of plastics that can be recycled. So we plan to go into that. And also eventually into paper recycling. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Can I answer? So just the second bit of Vipin's question is that I think the biggest risk is that the amount of money we're giving to households and collectors per item is quite low. And what we're trying to do is over time, as our business grows, we're trying to make that higher. So then households are more incentivized to take part in our scheme.
That's a good point. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, everybody. We're going to now go into just a lot of time for judging, scoring, and